don't want you to consider this video as a call that everyone takes gap year, everyone doesn't go to university, because university gives you really lots of things. I've been changing universities for the last 6 years, and I only graduated from one last year. In this video, I want to tell you about the importance of the gap year when you are actually not sure about what you want to do after your graduation from school, or what you're interested in, or what you feel for. I will share my experience and experience of people that I met in different countries, and hopefully if you've just graduated from school, this video will help you to decide, or will give you some, support in the decision that you've already made. My name is Anna. Here on my channel I usually talk about studies in different countries, life in different countries. Depending on where you come from, the attitude towards entering a university just right after your school can differ. For example, in my home country, it's the most common thing to enter university just right after your school graduation, and parents usually do not let their children take a gap year or something like that. And in some other cases, parents can even choose where their child needs to go, what they need to study, etc. Usually it's hard to argue about it, and if you come from such a country, I can totally relate, because that's how it works in my home country. Unfortunately, I graduated from school in 2016. I didn't pass the exams the way I planned to. It was a bit worse, and I was going to different cities to apply for university, and I felt actually absolutely lost, because my parents, decided that I am grown up enough to deal with it on my own. The only thing I knew is that I liked English very much, and that's it. I didn't enter any other university, except for the local one. And in the local university, I had to study translation. And at that time, I didn't really want to study written translation, because for me, speaking a foreign language, the beauty of foreign language was in speaking it. And I understood that entering a translation faculty would mean that I will learn a language, of course, but my future job will be just to write the translation down, and it will not include that I will be able to speak it. And I think for most written translators, it is so that people can write in a language very well. They know lots of vocabulary, but when it comes to speaking, they really struggle with it. Not all of it, not all of them, but I met really many people who actually did struggle a bit with it. So during my first year at university, I realized that translation is not what I wanted to learn. And the sad thing about it was that I didn't know what I could possibly learn if, for example, I'm interested in languages, because I didn't know what programs existed. I think it's a drawback of our education system in Russia, because maybe in some bigger cities there are some events where students are told what possibilities you have if you're interested in this topic or in this topic. But for me, it wasn't like that. I studied at a school in a very, very small place, in a small town with 8,000 people living there. In my town, if you were interested in languages, you had two ways two ways to continue your studies, either translations or becoming an English teacher. But the thing is that when I realized that I didn't enter any other university I wanted, and I ended up studying at my local university, I really asked my parents to give me a gap year so that I can study, because in my home country, if you pass your exam after school graduation, you also have several years, and you can apply for another university a year later or 2 years later with the same results. Or if you you want, you can even like study for another year to prepare for the exams again and to pass those exams again. And if the results are better, you can, for example, enter your like dream university or something like that. So you could see that I actually entered a university, or I entered a program that I didn't really enjoy. And when I try to remember those like 2 years that I spent at university, I remember them as very stressed because the studies were quite intense. That like I studied every day till 4 o'clock, and after that I had my job, and well, I was just a part of my routine, and all of the time just seems super gray and even depressive, I should say. And that's the problem. The problem when you do not have enough time to figure out for yourself what you want to do and what options you have. How could anyone possibly decide what they wanted to do at the age of 17 or 18 or 19, depending on how many school years you had? Like for me, I graduated at the age of 17 and I entered my university at the age of 17. And when now, like I'm 24, I recall myself at that age, I was completely lost. I had no idea what I wanted to do. I just knew that, oh, it's nice to speak English. And if, for example, I had a chance to take a gap year to, I don't know, to help me realize that, for example, I enjoy maybe speaking different languages. I would like to speak different languages. Maybe it would change my life at that time. How I did find that I actually enjoyed learning languages, like luckily for me, well, it doesn't happen to all the people. I think I was just lucky that that scholarship appeared at our university, because not before and not after that it didn't happen anymore. So it's really interesting. After the first year at that university, we got a chance to go to China to study Chinese for free. So we got a scholarship, I applied for it, I got it, and that year was actually one of the best years at university for me, because I took a gap year at my home university. It was just a complete and culture experience for me, where nothing distracted me from being in China, from studying Chinese, from like being in that experience. And I was so amazed by everything that surrounded me, and that was the thing I really wanted to do. I was like, oh my god, there are so many people from different countries. I want to meet them, I want to speak with them, I want to master my English, I want to master my Chinese and maybe other foreign languages, to be with these people and to communicate with them. And that's the moment when I realized that I actually wanted like to learn different languages, and that I wanted to communicate using those languages. Well, of course you could say that, well, you got this experience only because you entered a university you didn't like. Of course, if I wanted to do it again, well, I will do it again, because I am where I am right now thanks to this experience. But at that very moment, I think it would be better for me, like mentally, if I really had that gap year to figure out for myself, maybe to work somewhere, or maybe to learn more, to pass my exams next year, or maybe to enter university that would be better for me and more interesting for me. So at that very moment, I realized that yes, oh my god, I really want to do this thing. I want to learn languages, want to learn communications. And then I came back to my home country. I completed my second year, and it was also super stressful, because like the studies were really a lot. I had a job and I was just in my routine, and well, nothing like made me actually super happy at that moment of my life. After that, I got also lucky, because I got this opportunity to go and study abroad again in Latvia. I was happy enough to find the program that I graduated from. It was Languages and Cultural Communication. I decided to give up on my university in Russia and to start all over again. And at that moment of my life, oh my god, how many things I was told by many other people, like, oh, you're giving up on your university, you are making the biggest mistake in your life, oh my god, you will get an international diploma, but maybe Russian diploma is better if you go back and live in Russia. And oh my god, I heard it from so many different people that for them, like, giving up a university was like the biggest, I don't know, trouble, the biggest like disaster in their lives. And now I have a university degree, and I literally cannot understand why the this like giving up university thing was the biggest problem for them, because literally this university diploma, it doesn't like necessarily mean that you will get your dream job, that you will succeed in your life. It actually means like, I cannot say that it means nothing, because if you actually studied and if you actually like worked hard during your studies, then of course your university degree means a lot. But well, we know that in some cases, when someone has a university degree, it means actually nothing, because most probably they didn't study hard enough, or they were there because their parents made them go there. So the thing here is that I decided to give up all my studies, and luckily at that time my parents supported me. Maybe you can take a gap year, and that's like that kind of advice that I want to give you when you feel as if your studies are not good for you, but you are not sure completely because everyone is telling that, oh my god, no, don't give up. Here, I can really recommend you to take a gap year to figure out for yourself. So not only before studies, it is possible to take a gap year, but even during your studies. So when you are not really sure what to do with your life, just take a gap year so that you have an opportunity to come back to this university next year if you feel as if, okay, maybe I really made a mistake, maybe it wasn't that bad, etc. Gap year, I think it's like the answer to all of the things. And I know that in some countries, for example in my country, if you study university at the age of, I don't know, 30 or something, you're like, oh, you're old, you study. But I know that in European countries it's absolutely okay to study at university at any age. And well, when somebody, I don't know, is obtaining a master's degree, most probably there will be people close to 30 or older, and it's absolutely fine. So I really don't understand people when they complain about other people's ages when they are studying, because it's never too late to study, and it's absolutely fine if until you are 30 you thought that, well, you didn't need any education, and at 30 you realize that maybe you need one and you want to get it. I mean, like, it's absolutely okay. And what I realized with my experience is that people will always tell you that you're wrong if you do not follow this path that is generally approved in our society. And everyone will tell you that you are making a mistake. So for them, the situation when you are studying at a university that you hate is better than when you are giving up that shitty university to go somewhere else to study. So it's very interesting. And here I really recommend you to ask yourself what you really want. If you want to enter university right after your graduation, go for it. But in this video, like, I'm telling about this gap year because I want to support those people who are lost, because I was lost when I were you, when I was the same age. I was extremely lost and I didn't know what to do with my life. And you don't have to know what to do with your life when you are 17 and even when you are 24, as I'm right now, because I'm also lost. Life is just figuring out what you want and what you like to do now or in the future. And it's absolutely alright that even after a gap year, well, you feel like you want to do this thing, but then after some years you realize that you want to do another thing. It's absolutely right. I think we always change, our priorities change, our views of life change. It's absolutely okay. So I entered my university in Latvia and I graduated from that university. But during my studies I was always asked, are you still a student? I'm like, oh, you're a bachelor student still, or you didn't have your diploma? I'm like, if you are not sure enough in what you are doing, it can actually make you quite depressed or sad when people say those things. But again, here it's important to ask yourself what you want, what you are doing it for, because it's okay if somebody else's path doesn't match your feelings, your preferences, what you want to do in your life. It's absolutely okay. So just stick to it. So finally, I graduated from university. And here is another thing, that if your parents say that, oh my god, you have to enter university just because, well, it will let you find a nice job afterwards. And for example, you feel like, I want to take a gap year, I don't want to rush into studies, etc. I will tell you the saddest truth, that after you graduate from university, no one gives a shit about you, and no one will give you the best job ever, because even though you have a university degree, if you have this red diploma with excellent marks, no one will care unless you have job experience. That's the sad truth, because I don't understand these big companies that do not really want to teach new people to become good specialists. Everyone is looking for managers, everyone is looking for senior specialists, and they really don't understand why. I understand that they don't want to spend extra resources, extra time, money to teach you, but how do they want to get a good specialist if they don't want to try hard for that? So I don't support that at all. And myself, even though I really have quite a rich job experience, because all the time I've been studying, I've been working at the same time. Even with this experience, it's hard to find a job. So that aspect that somebody says that after university you will easily find a job, no, it's not true. So again, if it's the only reason why you're going to university, maybe you need to reconsider, because job experience is valued more than a university degree. At the university where I graduated from, I really had a very nice program called Languages and Cultural Communication. Even though this program was giving some basics for communications in different fields where I can work after, HR, PR, etc. It's a good base for me now to choose where I want to go further, and if I want, for example, to enter masters, etc. So I really wish that if you just graduate from university, or if you just graduate from school, or if you are studying at university and you feel as if it's not something you are really enjoying and you feel like you're wasting your time, I just want to give you that support, that it's okay if you decide to give up on your studies, and it doesn't mean that you're a failure because somebody says so. It's absolutely alright, because you still have plenty of time, you're young, and you can make mistakes. You can choose what you want to do in your life, because you are not your parents, and this is your life, not your parents or friends or relatives' life. I don't want you to consider this video as a call that everyone takes gap year, everyone doesn't go to university, because university gives you really lots of things, but it gives you lots of things when you are learning something you enjoy and something you really want to learn, and not something you hate, waking up every morning. If after school graduation you decide that I go to university, I know what I want to do, I'm so happy for you. My god, you are blessed, really super lucky. It was my case, and I know that there are many people over there that don't feel the same. And maybe a comparison that I have from other countries in Europe, I lived in Latvia and I lived in France, and there for people to take a gap year, it's absolutely alright. No one is rushed and no one is pushed to go and enter university. For example, I had a guy who I worked with in Latvia, and he graduated from school, and I was like, okay, are you applying for university? And he's like, I don't know. And he wasn't rushing to take all the documents to apply to university, etc. And he was like, okay, if I don't have enough time this year, I will apply next year. And the funny thing is that when he has only graduated from school, he had one goal, to apply for one program, but later, eventually next year, he applied for university, ended up with different programs. So that's what I was talking about, that you need time to figure out for yourself. So I really wish you good luck with your university application, and just know that if you fail to enter university and you really wanted to, it's absolutely okay. It doesn't mean that you're a failure. Try next year, take this year to figure out for yourself, to work, to do some things you enjoy, and you're gonna be just fine. Thank you for watching, and see you in my next video. Goodbye.